welcome to Coffee Break Daydreams episode 7 with me, Robert Bailey. I prefer Rob. So I was thinking about the connection between the timing of dreams and their level of resonance. That is to say, I think dreams come to us at particular times when we are most ready for them. That if you can enter into a allowing or accepting state of mind, that the dreams that then come forward are more likely to be upholding and positive. I think also there's something to be said for being in a space of invitation, that by inviting good dreams or good feelings into life, into your daily routine, the simple act of invitation helps to bring those good dreams, good feelings forward and to manifest them. I want to talk a little bit more about trust. I think trust is another way of saying the same thing, that if you trust in the process of life, then the good dreams are more likely to come forward. Someone I was talking to online yesterday was saying, similar to myself, that she'd had the experience of dreaming a lot when she was younger, and loving those dreams, loving their frequency and their intensity, but that both the frequency and intensity had dropped off, had declined. The number of dreams she was having had massively reduced, and she wanted to find a way to bring those experiences back into her consciousness and back into her regular experience. The context of this conversation was the question of where Neptune plays a role. If you follow astrology, you'll know that Neptune, the planet, is from an astronomical point of view, it's a long way off, and it's a very cold place, and but it has astrological and mythological and archetypal influences, which include things like altered states of consciousness and the capacity to dream big. Things like the state of mind required in order to enter regularly into dreams is that one has to be receptive to the sort of subtle influences of feeling. The question I'd asked in this astrology group was, how does your Neptune placement, where it was on your birth chart when you were born, how does that affect the frequency and the quality of your dream life? Now, for people who don't follow astrology, this will probably mean nothing, or it will probably sound ridiculous. Nevertheless, after many years reading, studying, and noticing these subtler influences of feeling, I think it's accurate to say that the planets, while astronomically, remarkable in their own right, they also carry an energy wave, they carry an emotional signature, they carry a mythological representation in our deep memory, in our collective memory, in our I'm not here to convince you of the merits of astrology, but nevertheless, in the answers that came up to the question about where Neptune is in your birth chart in this astrology group, there were clear correspondences between the way people express their experience of dreams and where Neptune was in their chart and how it related to the other planets, and the series of dynamic relationships between Neptune and all the other planets sets up a particular quality of receptiveness, a particular angle at which one kind of looks at these things. And I said to this woman who was, frustrated by the lack of dreams, I said, I think the thing is that the timing of these things is always just right, that when you're ready, which comes with patience and that allowing, then the good dreams will come back, they will come in. There was someone else in the group who was saying that she had Neptune conjunct her ascendant, which means that the planet Neptune was extremely close to within 3 degrees of the eastern horizon at the moment that she was born. So what that does is it brings the kind of first energy of the day, it kind of filters it through this Neptunian energy. So that moment, that key moment when you're waking from a dream, if that tends to be at dawn, and so if you've got Neptune placed near your ascendant, it may well be the case that you're more receptive, you're more able to tap into that dreamy energy that Neptune is renowned for representing. And by the eastern horizon, that moment when you wake up, so just imagine, if you will, having Mars conjunct your ascendant. So in that instance, at the first moment of day, there's this kind of warrior instinct. There's this kind of, right, I'm going to go out and beat the world at its own game, or conquer reality. Martian energy is a very bombastic, kind of military, high libido energy. So having that conjunct the ascendant would influence the character and the personality in different ways. There's plenty more I'm happy to talk about on that subject, but for now it's really just about being in tune with where Neptune is. So this woman who had her Neptune conjunct ascendant was regularly, since she was a child, she would experience and remember lots and lots of vivid dreams, lucid dreams, dreams in which she had influence or indeed complete creative control, or felt that there was no limit to her ability to step into dreams and find them rejuvenating and to find them renewing. The second point I'd like to make is about being in touch with just how close dreams and waking life can be. I think it's worth trying to get in touch with that. I think much of our materialistic culture, the dualistic attitude of body and mind being separate, or mind being highly distinct from spirit. This idea of separating reality into distinct arenas and saying, well, that is more real. You know, like for instance, the materialistic paradigm likes to suppose that the brain is the seat of consciousness, but there are more holistic ways of looking at it, such as the heart is the centre of being, not just of thought, but of tenderness, receptivity. And so I think it's helpful, when I describe the language of dreams, what I'm trying to do is to describe the subtle feelings of being alive, and that, you know, the distinct delineation between life and death is another delineation, another separative attitude, which is not necessarily entirely helpful as one gets older and confronts one's own mortality. There have to be ways of living in that, which are helpful and rejuvenative. So I think that's probably all I've got to say on those subjects. Another trick or tip you might find works if you're trying to get into a dream, get into a mental state where you're open to that dream, is to work through a particular sense. So you choose a particular sense that's your focus, whether it be vision or touch. There are all sorts of combinations of visualization that one can do. I imagined, for instance, or I thought, or I dreamt just a couple of days ago, where I was in a library, and I reached out into this imaginary or dream library, this visualized library, and I took a book off the shelf, and it was a green cover, it was a bright green, and it was a soft leather. And being in physical sensate contact with that book, and just looking at it, absorbing the quality of the cover, and then opening the book, it's a really simple little visual exercise, but it was so helpful. So you could try that. You know, try something simple that you can focus on, and use that as a key into what happens next. Okay, so thanks again for listening, and it's been a joy sharing some insight with you. Cheerio.